Hey guys, what is going on? I'm here back with another video, and today I want to give you guys a bit of insight of XRP versus traditional banking solutions. Now, one of XRP's biggest strengths is their speed, their efficiency, their cost efficiency, and pretty much anything that revolves around sending money from point A to point B. And obviously, whenever you do a cross-border transactions, whether it's through a bank, whether it's through Western Union, it's always going to be extremely costly. It's going to be extremely inefficient, and this is where XRP and the ledger comes in. XRP is essentially a lot faster, and this article breaks it down perfectly. So let's go through this and talk about this really quickly. XRP, the cryptocurrency associated with Ripple Labs Inc., is often described as a bridge currency that can be integrated with the traditional banking sector. At the moment, there are heightened discussions why banks should use XRP. Now, this has been happening for extremely long, since 2018, 2019, when we used to make videos, we used to talk a lot about how banks are already starting to adopt XRP. There's already very, very large banks in America. There's large banks around the world, and even in Canada that were interested in essentially adopting the technology that XRP had and Ripple Labs had, whether that was XRapid, pretty much just banks and a lot of these payment processing companies were trying to leverage the technology that Ripple has built, and because of that, XRP would also be used in the transactional fees and things of that sort, which essentially help the volume and the use of XRP. Now, overall, XRP and Ripple has had a wonderful relationship with payment processing companies. Now, what's happened in the last couple of years is a lot of them transitioned over to using their technology from the adoption stage to finally actually using it, and it's been going very well. Now, in an X post, crypto investor and analyst CryptoTank highlighted several reasons banks would use XRP instead of other digital tokens or central bank digital currency, which is known as CBDC. The analyst pointed out that the traditional banking sector is competitive. He noted that smaller banks compete with larger banks like JP Morgan for market share and customers. He claims banks will be uninterested in accepting each other's digital token or CBDC, since doing so will give bigger rivals a competitor advantage. The analyst added that the smaller banks' agreement could give bigger banks total control of how the tokens will be issued and used. Essentially, the analyst opined that bigger banks could eventually exert tough conditions that might put smaller ones out of business. He said JP Morgan or B of A or any other competitor, if they agreed to that, the big bank could set the terms and control how that token is issued or used to the smaller banks, essentially be able to put them out of business if they wanted to, which of course they do. A lot of larger banks like JP Morgan, if they ever did have control of the tokens or the technology that a lot of the smaller banks use, it would give them further leverage over these other banks. Whether it's the economies of scale, because they move a lot more money than the smaller banks do, they have a lot more control than the smaller banks obviously have. And so that's why using technology like Ripple Labs, like XRP, like XRapid will give them a competitive advantage because it's completely decentralized. There's not one single person, especially their competitors, who have control over it. It's a whole third-party organization such as Ripple. CryptoTank's second point hinges on liquidity. He emphasized how banks are desperate to get liquidity, which is easily accessible, cheap, with low to zero friction. He noted that the SWIFT network, developed as a payment solution for financial institutions, is still far behind in technology. Now, a lot of the time we talk about Ripple versus SWIFT, and we always come to the conclusion that SWIFT is outdated technology, it's inefficient, it gets hacked, the risk is higher. So why would banks, not even just big ones, but all of them, why would they use a network that's a lot more riskier for their customers? The analyst stated that the network is slow, costly, and has friction, thus limiting its use by traditional banks. CryptoTank highlighted that the fundamental idea behind the new financial system and the digital age is the seamless transfer of value. He added that BRICS alliance, which was created by countries seeking freedom from the traditional banking system. According to the analyst, the US and UK have had authority over sanctions which often cause financial harm to them. Documents from BIS, IMF, and WEF claim a neutral bridge currency is needed to provide a seamless transfer of value globally. This would avoid friction and failed transaction and allow banks to free up nostro vostro accounts. Now, what do we mean by another third-party neutral bridge currency? It could very possibly be Ripple and XRP, just because of how much of the problems the network of Ripple and XRP solves for the United States government, for the banks, and even the customers of a lot of these banks. Now, in this next part of the article, they compare XRP to XLM. Many think sellers XLM can be used for seamless value transfer instead of XRP. However, he pointed out that XLM was created for peer-to-peer smaller transactions and banking in the unbanked globally and not as a bridge currency. On the other hand, he noted that XRP is not a utility token. The analyst describes XRP as a token created specifically for transferring huge amounts of value at a low cost, high speed, and without friction. Now, think of any business that you can imagine at this current stage that would be at such a competitive advantage, where if they could transfer money from point A to point B, whether it's cross-border, whether it's domestically, without incurring high amounts of fees. Every single business nowadays requires to move money from point A to point B, not just quickly, not just safely, but also at a very low cost. The analyst highlighted how Ripple uses XRP as a bridge asset to move value from its ODL. As noted in its earlier post, wealth advisor Miko claims demand for XRP among market makers will increase as global ODL transactions expand. He highlights that Ripple's partnership with the BIS, IMF, and WEF further strengthens XRP's case as the appropriate bridge currency, sitting at the table, head tables with the global leaders of finance and banking, crafting the rules, regulations, and how the new system will work. It doesn't take a genius to see where this is going. Now, what he's suggesting here is that because Ripple has such a political and international impact, and they sit with very, very important people in the financial market, in the banking market, it's not hard to see where Ripple and XRP is headed. And what he means by that is mass adoption. We're essentially moving towards mass adoption where slowly a lot of the smaller banks, then the bigger banks, and then the biggest banks like JP Morgan and even Western Union and payment processors are all working towards adopting a technology that will allow them to move money from point A to point B without interruptions, without friction, without high cost, and obviously without risk. That was the article, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just wanted to give you a bit of a breakdown of what the argument and basis of the argument is between the traditional banking system of Swift versus Ripple and XRP. Thanks once again, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.